All right, let's talk about armholes. Today we're diving deep into armhole adjustments.
Ooh, a deep dive.
Yeah, we're gonna uncover how this, seemingly small detail
Right.
can totally make or break the fit of a garment.
Oh, yeah, it's a game changer for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for this deep dive, our guide is Ellie.
Oh, I love Ellie.
I know, she's amazing. She's a pattern maker.
Yeah.
And we've got, a ton of YouTube videos and
Oh.
PDFs from her website.
Wonderful resources.
Let me tell you, she is all about practical advice.
I think that's what I like most about her stuff.
Yes.
She's very hands-on.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
you can really see what she's doing.
Yeah, and she doesn't just throw techniques at you. She's
Like
really
this.
emphasizes understanding the why behind each step.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes her such an effective teacher, honestly.
I think so too. And so diving right in
Yeah.
to these YouTube transcripts and PDFs,
Okay.
Ellie breaks down armhole adjustments into two main categories: enlargement and reduction.
Makes sense.
And she starts with enlargement and is basically explaining that it's all about removing fabric
Okay.
strategically
Ah.
to create more room or change the overall style.
Right, so it's kind of like you're sculpting
Yeah.
the armhole to achieve that specific look
Exactly.
and that fit. She talks about how even just like a tiny little adjustment, like
Mhm.
widening it even just by a centimeter or two,
Right.
can completely change how the garment looks.
Yeah, totally.
Like you could take a boxy top,
Yes.
make it more relaxed and flowy, or
Right.
like a fitted dress.
Yeah.
And you could give it that
Oh,
vintage vibe with a wider armhole.
I love that. And so in one of the videos,
Okay.
I noticed that Ellie is using this basic bodice pattern
Uh-huh.
to demonstrate, how to enlarge the armhole.
Right.
And she suggests using 2 centimeters for deepening it
Okay.
and 3 centimeters for widening.
Got it.
But she's very specific about how that widening is distributed.
It's-
It's more on the back piece than the front.
Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, why is that?
Hmm.
Why do you think?
Well, I mean, if you think about how your arms naturally hang,
Yeah,
the back of your arm needs a little more space, right?
it's true.
So her technique is taking that into account
Okay,
to make sure you have a comfortable fit
right.
and that you can, move freely.
That makes total sense. And she stresses that anytime you adjust the armhole,
Yeah.
the sleeve needs to be adjusted too.
It's got to match.
It's got to match. You've got to lengthen it
Uh,
to match that new armhole length.
right.
And she has very specific methods for doing that.
I'm sure she does.
It involves adding fabric at certain points along the seam.
And this is where it gets a little,
Yeah, it seems tricky.
tricky. Yeah, you're not just adding length.
Right.
You're actually having to reshape that sleeve to fit that new armhole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she uses a lot of visuals,
I noticed that.
Like she talks about making sure you keep that natural curve of the sleeve cap
Mm-hmm.
and avoiding what she calls the bowl and the dreaded number 0 shapes.
Can you unpack that for us a little bit?
Sure. So imagine like a bowl flipped upside down.
Okay.
That's that bowl shape she wants you to avoid.
Okay.
It creates this flat, unflattering sleeve cap,
Right.
and it doesn't let your arm move very well.
Ah,
And then the number 0 shape is like this exaggerated curve, almost pointy.
okay.
And that can make the sleeve look kind of awkward. And bumpy.
Oh, so we're looking for that nice in-between.
Yes, smooth, natural curve.
Got it. And she also talks a lot about relocating the sleeve notches.
Oh, the notches are so important.
Those little markings.
They're like the cornerstones of a building. If they're off, the whole structure's messed up.
So we really got to pay attention to those.
You do.
So we're moving those notches in proportion to our armhole adjustments.
Right, exactly.
I'm starting to see how precise this all is.
It's not just about slashing and spreading fabric.
No, it's not willy-nilly.
No, you got to be precise.
Okay.
This is where understanding that relationship between the armhole and the sleeve is so important.
Yeah, they really work together.
They do. It takes careful planning. You got to execute it well.
Now, something else I noticed in the videos is that she constantly emphasizes that the back sleeve is wider than the front sleeve.
She does. That's so important.
Yeah, it's like her mantra almost.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
It seems like such a big deal to her.
It is a big deal. Again, think about how our arms naturally hang.
Yeah.
The back of our arm is further from our body than the
Yeah.
front.
Okay.
So if the back sleeve isn't wider,
Yeah.
it's going to pull
Yeah.
and restrict your movement.
Gotcha.
It's all about that Bewegungsfreiheit.
Freedom of movement.
Yeah.
So we've talked about widening and deepening, adjusting the sleeve, relocating those sleeve notches.
It's a lot to keep in mind.
What else should we keep in mind for armhole enlargement?
Well, she talks a lot about fabric choice, too.
Oh, right.
It can be trickier with certain fabrics,
Like what?
like a thick wool or a bulky knit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's about understanding how different fabrics behave.
So like a stretchy knit might need less widening.
It's
That-
like a woven fabric. Exactly. And with thick fabrics, you might need to use a bigger seam allowance.
Oh, okay, to accommodate all that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so I think we have a pretty good grasp on enlarging armholes.
I think so too.
But what about making them smaller?
Oh, now that's a different
It
beast.
seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, but sometimes a smaller armhole is actually better,
Okay.
more flattering.
Hmm.
Let's talk about that next time.
Okay, let's unpack that in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.